Collagen ads make it sound like I can drink a scoop and send fresh scaffolding straight to my face or knees. Is that basically what the evidence says? Or is the story less direct?
Less direct. Collagen is a major structural protein in skin, tendons, cartilage, bone, and other connective tissues. But a supplement is usually hydrolyzed collagen, meaning collagen has been chopped into smaller peptides. You are not swallowing intact replacement fibers. You are swallowing protein-derived pieces that enter normal protein metabolism. For skin, the best version of the claim is not, collagen erases aging. It is narrower. Some randomized or reviewed human studies report improvements in measured hydration, elasticity, roughness, or density after hydrolyzed collagen products. That is promising, but these are often cosmetic endpoints, product-specific formulas, and relatively short trials.
When a study says hydration or elasticity improved, how should a normal person hear that? Are we talking visible transformation, or more like a small nudge that instruments can detect?
Usually a nudge, not a makeover. If someone is hoping for slightly better dryness or texture, collagen may be a reasonable experiment. If they expect deep wrinkles to vanish, that is marketing doing too much work. Skin also responds to sun protection, smoking status, sleep, overall protein, and medical skin conditions. So collagen is never the whole explanation.
So after I drink it, what actually happens? Do collagen peptides survive digestion in a special way, or do they just become amino acids like any other protein?
Both things are partly true. Hydrolyzed collagen is digested into amino acids and small peptides, and some peptide fragments may appear in blood, but the body still decides where those building blocks go. They can support general protein needs. They do not carry an address label that says left knee cartilage or under eye skin. Joint claims are trickier than skin claims. Reviews discuss collagen products for joint comfort and connective tissue biology. But joint pain has many causes: osteoarthritis, training load, injury, inflammatory disease, body weight, sleep, and mechanics. A supplement might help some discomfort in some people, yet it is not the same as rebuilding cartilage on command.
If someone has knee pain, when is collagen the wrong starting point? What would make you say, do not shop for powder yet? Get evaluated.
New injury, major swelling, locking, giving way, fever, unexplained weight loss, severe night pain, or a hot red joint should not be self-managed with collagen. Same for diagnosed skin disease that is spreading, infected, painful, or rapidly changing. Supplements are optional support. They are not a substitute for diagnosis or treatment. A useful reality check is ordinary protein. In an exploratory trial of older adults before knee replacement, adding 40 grams of whey for 2 weeks did not increase measured protein synthesis across muscle, bone, cartilage, tendon, ligament, meniscus, or periarticular tissues. That does not disprove longer strategies, but it warns us that connective tissues change slowly.
What about athletes or active adults who already eat enough protein but have cranky tendons or joints? Is collagen more compelling there, or still mostly a maybe?
Still mostly a maybe. The most reasonable candidate is someone with adequate calories, enough total protein, sensible training progression, and mild recurring joint or tendon discomfort who wants a low-drama trial. If the rest of the plan is poor, under-eating, chaotic load spikes, no rehab, little sleep, collagen is the smallest lever in the room.
Does the form matter? People compare marine collagen, bovine collagen, gelatin, bone broth, gummies, powders, and capsules. Is one clearly superior, or is that mostly branding?
What matters first is what the product actually provides. Hydrolyzed collagen peptides or gelatin, the grams per serving, source animal, added ingredients, and quality controls. Powders often make dosing clearer than gummies, which may provide small collagen amounts plus sugar. Bone broth can be food, but its collagen dose is less standardized than a labeled supplement. The packet does not justify one universal dose. Many commercial studies use daily servings in the grams range, but the exact effective amount depends on the product and outcome. I would think in terms of a time-limited trial using the studied product's labeled serving, while also counting it as protein-derived calories, not as a free repair signal. Some people should pause before experimenting. Anyone with fish, shellfish, bovine, porcine, or egg-related allergy concerns depending on source, people with kidney disease or protein restrictions, pregnant or breastfeeding people, and anyone stacking multiple supplements or taking medications where a clinician should review the whole list.
If I do a trial, what would count as it helped? Should I track skin photos, dryness scores, joint pain, workouts, or just whether I feel like buying it again?
Pick one primary target. For skin, use the same lighting and routine, and track dryness or texture rather than hunting for a miracle. For joints, track discomfort during a specific activity, training load, and rehab work. If nothing meaningful changes after a consistent trial, stop. If symptoms worsen, stop and reassess the diagnosis. Also remember that supplements are not regulated like prescription drugs. Product quality varies, and athletes have extra reasons to prefer third-party tested products because contamination can matter for eligibility. Avoid products that promise to cure arthritis, regrow cartilage, erase wrinkles, or replace medical treatment. Those claims are bigger than the evidence.
I have also seen collagen framed as bone support or recovery support after surgery. Do the newer studies make that claim stronger, or should people be careful there too?
Careful there too. In a hip arthroplasty trial, hydrolyzed collagen did not modulate bone metabolism markers compared with placebo, even though recovery measures changed over time. For bone health, evidence for calcium and vitamin D context is a different conversation. Bottom line, collagen peptides may modestly help some skin measures and possibly some comfort outcomes, but they are not a rebuild button.